First, two, calculate a program. Write a program that takes two numbers and an operator as an input. So three parameters there, and performs a corresponding arithmetic operation. Display the results in the console. Okay, so how I did this one is really standard. So here again, or including standard our inputs and output methods, then using the standard namespace here, global variables. Then here, this is our calculation function. So this one will do all our calculations for us depending on what depending on what parameters we gave it. So the x would be our first number, the y would be our next number, and then our operation here. So it takes the first number, the second number, and what calculation do we want here. So if the operation that we first give it here, if it's a plus, it will perform x plus y. If it's a minus, the same thing. If it's a multiplication, it will just return the answer to that multiplication. If it's division as well, that's the trick here. So we know that anything cannot be divided by 0. So here it'll just return a 0 in case somebody says 2 divided by 0, for example. We'll get an error message saying division by real 0 is not allowed, which is obviously undefined. Then here, so before we get the division in C++, we first have to force this to be a double. So this just converts this integer to a double. Because if we don't declare that this to be a double, then we will get a whole number, which is not what we want. Because if we say 7 divided by 3, it should be 2.5. But if I use int here, it'll just, if I even just say x divided by y, it'll just give me the whole number, which is not what we want. So this just converts this int into a double. That way we will get an integer number. Then again with the modulus, nothing can be modulated by 0. If somebody uses y as 0, then it'll just return the our answer for our modulus here. So that is our calculation function here. Then in our main function, we first define our two variables and then our operation. So when the program runs, we're first gonna see a C out of this text here, prompting us to enter the first. Then we're using the cin method again for the user to input the first number. The same goes for the operator, then the same goes for the second number. Then we define a double variable here as the result, and then we're going to call the calculation function to add in our first and second int number and then an operation, and then we'll get our results. So if I run the program, we should get our basic calculator working. So first number, if I say 30, and if I say multiplied by 20, we'll get our answers there. So that would be our basic calculator. So the whole reason why, let me say 7 we get our 2.3 there. But if I had done int here, it would just give us the whole number instead of the actual correct term, which this is wrong. So that's why we have to use, or I convert that x into an integer, converts it to a double before I then proceed with the division. So that is just 2.